wanted to surrender. And they sent a letter of demands to General McAuliffe, to which he famously replied with one little word: nuts. That's it. It reminds me of a time in history when a bunch of American soldiers found themselves completely surrounded by the enemy. One quiet Sunday, a bitter, cold December 16th, 1944, as people were preparing for their very first Christmas not occupied by the Nazis. They thought, hey, we're going to get to Christmas and we're going to celebrate this the way we want to. Hundreds of German artillery pieces opened up. 50,000 German soldiers poured in towards the American forces around a city called Bastogne with 1,000 tanks. It was a day that would be known later on as the Battle of the Bulge. 4 days later, just 4 days, on December 20th, the Americans were completely surrounded. And the Germans finally got to send a letter of demands to the Americans. They wanted to surrender. And they sent a letter of demands to General McAuliffe, to which he famously replied with one little word: nuts. That's it. The Germans had no idea what to do with that. Well, there was another speech, not as famous, but fairly well known, not as famous though, that a young private gave that day. And I'll have to clean the speech up a little bit, so I'm not going to give you a word-for-word breakdown of this one. But it was an exchange between a private and a sergeant. The sergeant must have been shaking in his boots. He knew that he was surrounded. He knew that the Germans were going to come at any moment because he was a nervous wreck. But while he was making preparations, trying to make sure everybody was prepared for what was coming, he noticed this young private, he looking just as cool as a cucumber. He's like, "What? Why are you just sitting over here? Why are you just chilling over here in the corner?" When he asked, how could you be so calm and complete when you're completely surrounded by the enemy? The private says, "Well, Sarge, I feel sorry for them Krauts." Sergeant looks out, "How do you feel sorry for? We're the ones who are surrounded. How can you be sorry for them?" Well, the private said, "Sarge, if I understand this correctly, this is the first time in this war where we can attack the enemy in any direction we want to. Now, I know today we might not be surrounded by Nazi forces despite everyone calling everybody a Nazi who they don't like or don't agree with. But we in the church are surrounded nonetheless, aren't we?